want to talk again about the most recent trends in liberal morality. So you have different types of call it whatever you want. The religious man will call it sin. The non-religious man might call it depravity, stupidity, retardation, criminality, foolishness. Call it what you want. Perversion. You have different types out there, right? You have the type of perversion or the type of criminality or the type of sin that directly hurts other people, right? You have assault, you have thievery, you have cheating, lying, stuff that is most people can agree, well, that's bad, right? Holding up a liquor store with a gun, that's, most people will say that's bad. You have your fringe people out there that say, well, he didn't have any money and he didn't have any choice, so he's just repaying society for the way society treated him, and he's just getting his. You do have some people who will actually stick up for and defend the armed robber or the guy who burglarizes the house. You will have people, but a very small fringe of society will stick up for that guy. The majority of people will say, I don't care what your situation is. You cannot steal from others. You can't do it, which is true, which is where the line should be drawn. And then you have other types of moral lines that you draw that the religious man or the very conservative man will differ very, very greatly from the liberal man. And that is when it comes to questions of sexual depravity. Now, I'm not talking about rape, and I'm not talking about child molestation. Those two things have pretty much, for the most part, been agreed upon just as burglarizing and armed robbery are unacceptable, right? Hurting innocent children or raping a woman, having sex with a woman against her will, basically. Those things have been pretty much agreed upon. But when you get into things that are one's own personal choice, one's own personal sexual preference, one's own personal sexual identity. I'm a man, but I identify as a woman. I'm a man, but I like to have sex with animals and sex with other men, other women, whatever. I'm bisexual, transsexual, whatever, gay. Then the liberals quite easily draw the line right there and say, you know what? As long as it's between two consenting adults, well, at least they should say adults. A lot of them don't even say that anymore. But as long as it's with two consenting people, then let them do whatever they want. Let them do whatever they want. If it's a girl and she says she wants to be a boy, It's her choice. She should say that she wants to be a boy. She should take pills that change her hormones, grow facial hair, deepen her voice. She should get her boobies lopped off. And you right-wingers, you're trying to tell them what they can do with their own bodies. Well, I guess some right-wingers are trying to tell them what they can and can't do with their own bodies, I guess. Now, we're not talking about abortion. I'm not even going to go there right now. We're just talking about your own sexual preferences, your own sexual identity. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's just stay in that realm. Let's stay in that lane for now. Maybe you got a 15-year-old girl and she decides, based on some cues that she gets in her own brain, that she's a lesbian or she's bisexual or whatever. And she wants to, play the scissor game with some other 15-year-old girl, whatever. To a degree, yes, it is your choice. It's your body. It's your choice. And as a libertarian, I can tell you that I don't give a shit what you do in the privacy of your own home between two consenting people, blah, 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 blah. But a 15-year-old who is my daughter, I'm going to have something to say about that. A 15-year-old who is not my daughter, that's between her and her parents and her and her own conscience, her and her little girlfriend, her girlfriend's parents. None of my business. I'm going to stay out of it. But when I am going to get involved is when Target stores start selling, these gay-friendly outfits for children. That becomes an outside influence that comes in and tries to influence my children. When you have agendas in a school, agendas at a workplace that force you to acknowledge things that you don't believe in, that's when I'm going to get involved. That's when I'm going to say, keep it in the privacy of your own fucking home. Keep it in the privacy of your own home. You're gonna come into my child's classroom and say, you know what, children? You might be gay. You need to think about that. You might be a boy trapped in a girl's body. You need to think about that. You need to think about that. You have counselors telling children this shit. You have teachers promoting this shit. And something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. The line needs to be drawn. You can come this far, but you can come no further. You cannot come any further. You cannot be an outside influence to my child. Once my child is an adult, my child can do whatever he or she wants to do. They can become a Satan worshiper. They can become the gayest of the gay, the transest of the trans. They can do whatever they want. Once they become an adult and they're no longer living under my roof anymore, and they want to do that, then yes, it's your body and it's your life. You do whatever you want. But if I'm going to support you financially, emotionally, I got rules. And if my son or my daughter is going to a school, I got rules there too. And if the school is going to try to have this LGBTQ, LMNOP, QRS, TUV, WXYZ agenda, then I'm going to fight it. Because the school should be staying the fuck out of that shit, right? Just like the liberals' victory back in the 60s when they said, we want prayer out of schools. We want prayer out of schools. And you know what? I agree with that. You know why? Because if you're non-religious or if you're a different religion, if you come into a Christian community and you're a Muslim, you come into a Christian community and you're an atheist, you come into a Christian community and you're a Sikh or you're a Jew or you're a whatever you are, you shouldn't be forced to pray to Jesus in the morning. You shouldn't be forced to do that. And God doesn't even want you to do that because he knows that it's not a he knows that it's not a genuine prayer that your child's praying anyway. So yes, get prayer out of schools. Fine. But you're going to get prayer out of schools because you want school to be a neutral ground where no agendas are being pushed. And then you're going to push the gay agenda and the trans agenda? No. No. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, bitch. You take prayer out of school, you take everything that is controversial out of school. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. We don't talk about sexuality. We don't talk about it. You're going to take it out? You're going to take one thing out? Take them all out. School is a fucking place for learning about science and technology and math and English and history. It's not about brainwashing my fucking children and telling them that the white man is bad and telling them that they might be gay. That is not what school is for. And how people can actually think it's okay to do it. To just like let their children be subjected to that shit. This blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind. Like, you got to take a stand sometime. You got to take a stand. You can't just sit there and let your rights and your freedoms just be chipped away at, constantly chipped away, slowly eroded away. You got to take a stand eventually. You have to. You have to.